not in love with his list.
Yeah, Brad Carpenter, also part of Team Next Ridge Games. You see him over on the right. 10-1-1 with Blue-White Eldrazi. There are 4 players in the tournament right now at X and 1 or with better than X and 2. So we have 3 players at 11-1 and then Brad Carpenter. A win here could put the player into top 8.
Yeah, both these players are in excellent position.
Turn 1 Pithing Needle from Colin Hartman is on Eldrazi Displacer. So we talked about this. Colorless Eldrazi, Blue-White Eldrazi. Colorless is a huge favorite here. Or, sorry, Blue-White's a huge favorite here.
Right. Blue-White doesn't have to mess around with any cards like Pithing Needle. Their interactive spells are Dismember and Path to Exile, which actually just remove the creature. 3/3 body is not substantial, but playing a Pithing Needle to turn it off, also not a very strong play.
So after the turn 1 Pithing Needle, turn 2 is Colin Hartman pitches a Simian Spirit Guide to play Matter Reshaper. So this looks like an exact copy of the Channel Fireball list that was played at the Pro Tour. We have not seen any Matter Reshapers this tournament up until now, but this was a 4 of in their Pro Tour deck.
Right, and when you look at the upside on Matter Reshaper versus the upside on Eldrazi Displacer, you're looking at a card that replaces itself versus a card that generates very large quantities of mana. We have seen players controlling over 100 Eldrazi Scions in this tournament.
Well, if there's a needle on the Displacer,
right,
maybe this Matter Reshaper is better. Brad Carpenter will come back in a big way, though. Plays 4 creatures this turn. It's an Eldrazi Sky Spawner, a Scion, and 2 Endless Ones, and passes back to Colin.
I almost never like playing the second Endless one as a 2/2. The first one is usually forgivable, but particularly if there's a Matter Reshaper in my opponent's board, I want to hold off to get a 4/4.
We'll see how it works. It looks like they're going to race. Colin swings in with his own Matter Reshaper, plays Eye of Ugin up to 4 mana, pitches Simian Spirit Guide, and plays Endless One on 5.
That is more than twice as endless as Carpenter's Endless Ones.
I said, yeah, it does really make the 2/2 Endless Ones look a little small.
Right. I played a mirror match one time where my opponent played Eye of Ugin into 3 2/2 Endless Ones. They were outclassed very quickly.
Well, how about this? Path to Exile from Brad Carpenter. That card doesn't care how big Endless One is. He'll play that, and then it looks like swing for 7. Colin down to 13.
Yeah, it's a good turn, in particular when you think about the fact that Colin has invested 2 Simian Spirit Guides into his plays, so doesn't have a lot of cards left to work with.
Yeah, when you start getting to hands where he's played Pithing Needle, Spirit Guide, there's these are all 2-for-1s now.
Right.
Top deck for Colin Hartman, Reality Smasher. That's a great one here. So once again, he controls the largest creature on the battlefield.
Right. Last turn we saw an attack with the Reshaper. Colin definitely rethinking the position of who's the aggressor.
Or not. He's going to swing.
Decides it's still him.
Still him. Brad Carpenter misses land drop last turn. Looks like he's going to try again. He'll sacrifice the Scion, cast Dismember on the Reality Smasher. He will discard. Looks like a Thought-Knot Seer. I mean, there are no cards in Colin's hand.
Also, Carpenter still needs that 4th mana source.
We go back to Carpenter. Draw is another Eye of Ugin. That's close, but doesn't work.
It is the closest possible miss if we're talking about finding mana.
A swing for 6 from Carpenter puts Colin down to 7. He plays the Eldrazi Displacer post-combat. Now remember that Eldrazi Displacer has been Pithing Needled, so it's just a 3/3.
So here's another area where I want to talk about Endless 1 on 2 not being very great. Colin has 2 Mutavaults hanging out on the bench here.
Oh, wow, you're right. So Colin, despite losing all that card advantage with Simian Spirit Guide, kind of regains in the fact that his lands do something.
On their face, they trade, and also the Blink Moth Nexus here means that he can actually pump the Mutavault on blocks.
Mutavault's a Blink Moth.
Right.
Right. So Carpenter, not much he can do. He'll swing. It looks like Colin will offer up the Blink Moth Nexus to trade with Sky Spawner. That trade will happen. Go back to Carpenter. Did he hit another land, or does he just have to pass? And just another pass from Brad Carpenter.
Pretty conservative block by Colin there. He just figures if he draws an action spell before Brad can find more mana, he can win this game pretty easily.
I think that's the race that's happening. We see another Path to Exile from Carpenter. That'll hit Matter Reshaper. It will not reshape. Right. As it was exiled. It did not die.
Unlike Thought-Knot Seer, that one does have to hit the graveyard.
A second waste's found by Hartman, and the team swings again.
Yeah, notably with the Eye of Ugin as the 4th untapped land here, Colin's only able to activate and block with 1 Mutavault as of now.
So he'll go to 2 on this block. Or 3, depending, I guess, on which creature he wants to block.
Right, could make a trade or could make a chump block. Probably not going to take lethal damage.
We'll see if he wants to trade away for the Endless One. Chump block the Displacer. Those appear to be his lines. He has 1 card in hand. Remember, Colin doesn't have anything like Drowner of Hope to stabilize here.
Yeah, not really much in the way of going over the top in the colorless build. They have things like a Oblivion Sower in the sideboard.
Colin down to 2. Trades away the Mutavault with an Endless One. He draws. Can he keep 2 creatures at bay? Oblivion Sower in its lake is very good here. Colin will go out his own way. He'll gut shot. And the game and match go over to Bradley Carpenter.
Yeah, as we've seen happen pretty consistently, the blue-white Eldrazi deck pretty heavily favored in the mirror. The interactive spells that were coming out of Carpenter were more impactful than the Pithing Needles and the gut shots out of Colin.
Yeah, when you look at Matter Reshaper, it just, yeah, the best cards we've been seeing in the mirror are the Eldrazi Displacers and the Drowner of Hopes, and it just, this didn't feel like a fair fight.
Right. When we talk about the 3 drops in the deck, when we compare it face-up Matter Reshaper versus Eldrazi Displacer, one of these is just a fine play. You play it because you can cast it. It's a reasonable value card. And the other one actually breaks games wide open from time to time.
So Bradley Carpenter, team Next Ridge Games, he's 1 win away from the top 8. For Colin Hartman, he drops to 11-2, still in an excellent position. He should have a win in next round as well.